Wind and Truth releases in just 9 months, and I want to build as much hype as possible. With that mission in mind, we will take a look at one of the most mysterious and curious families on Roshar, the Devas. Join me in exploring 3 theories, Easter eggs, and questions posed about the most suspicious family in Yarkaved. Number 1. Shallan may have started the desolation, and yes, her mother may be a herald. This is one of my personal favourite Stormlight Archive theories and uses some information from the Wind and Truth prologue, so turn away if you're saving yourself for book 5. So what basis is there for this theory? Shallan's mother attempted to murder Shallan once learning of her surge-binding powers. This lines up with the madness of the rest of the heralds we've seen on screen, specifically Nael, who actively kills budding Knight's Radiance. It's not a secret that Lyn Davar and his wife shared dangerous company, flirting with the Ghostbloods, Skybreakers, and potentially the Sons of Honor. But who's to say that interest in the Davar family doesn't originate from heraldry? Let's transport ourselves to another time and place on Roshar. The year is 1167, the night of King Gavilar's assassination. An extract from the prologue of Wind and Truth goes as follows. Then the Stormfather cried out, a sound like a peal of thunder, agonize. What? Gavilar said, backing up. What happened? A herald has died. No, I'm not ready. The Oath Pact. No, they mustn't see. They mustn't know. Have we been fooled on what may be the most important event in recent Rosharian history? For on an estate in Yarkaved, another tragic event is taking place, potentially at this very moment. The death of Shallan's mother, Chanarach, a herald of the Almighty, by Shallan's hands. But why? Why Chana? Didn't Talm break? Nope. So perhaps this is the death that brought the desolations upon Roshar. Want some more evidence for this? Check out the opening line of Shallan's first flashback chapter in Words of Radiance. The world ended, and Shallan was to blame. This feels like Sanderson being his cheeky old self, sneaking in lines that on rereads are there to blow our minds once certain revelations become clear. Other than this, Chana is mentioned sparingly in the books, though when she is, it is in Shallan chapters, even to the extent of Shallan taking on the alter ego inspired by her mother's name in Rhythm of War. And honestly, if this wasn't enough for you, just look at the official depiction of Chanarach in the books. That's a pretty striking resemblance to me. This theory alone could warrant a much longer video, but let's leave it here and examine other members of the Davar household. Number 2. Helaran Davar may have been sent to kill Kaladin. Within the Way of Kings, we see the face-off between Kaladin and the infamous Shardbearer, who we now know as Helaran Davar. Kaladin killing Helaran and refusing to take his plate and blade shaped his entire future, and without this moment, we'd be reading a very different storyline. But why was Helaran there that day? What were his true motives? There are 2 main possible theories for this. Firstly, we should establish that Helaran was working with the Order of Skybreakers, led by the herald Nael. Nael was on the watch for budding Knight's Radiant, who he would in turn either kill or recruit if he saw potential in them. Through Mother Davar's intimate relationship with the Skybreaker, we can assume that Nael became aware of Helaran. Perhaps Shallan's mother was an old friend of Nael's, a comrade perhaps. But getting back on track, a group with opposing views to the Skybreakers were the Sons of Honor, who had a high-ranking member, Meredith Amaram, a man desperately trying to return the Knight's Radiant, and a key candidate for who Helaran was sent to kill that day. The alternative thought is that Helaran and the Skybreakers had heard of a person bonding a Spren in Amaram's army. Perhaps he was there to kill Kaladin and failed. Though Mraize presumes that the only person bonding a Spren in Amaran's army is long dead, this was likely Tien, and that if they knew about Kaladin, more attempts on his life would have most definitely have been made in his time as a slave. Number 3. Nan Balat may be under the influence of an Unmade. Nan Balat liked killing things. Not people, never people, but animals, those he could kill, particularly the little ones. He wasn't sure why it made him feel better. It simply did. He sighed in satisfaction. Ripping a leg free soothed him, made the aches in his body retreat. He tossed the leg over his shoulder and moved on to the next one. In Nan Balat's interlude, we see his obsession with hurting animals. What's curious is the effect this sick habit has on him, and how similar it is to other Unmade effects we see on Roshar. From what we can gather, certain Unmade are able to take advantage of people who are susceptible. We see this in the soldiers who experience the thrill, courtesy of Nan Balat, already feeling the adrenaline of battle, and people in their weakest dying moment who are likely to attempt last words with the death rattles, courtesy of Molach. Perhaps the Devas, or specifically Nan Balat, who have been abused and traumatized beyond belief, are susceptible to a different Unmade, perhaps Diagonathus, who consumes sorrow. What's most poignant here is that Sanderson has personally confirmed that whatever is happening to Nan Balat is magically enhanced. Perhaps these answers will become clear later down the line. As Hoyt says to Shallan in her flashback chapter, the things you fight aren't completely natural. So there you have it. The Devas are truly a mystery on the planet of Roshar, and yet again I feel as though we've barely scratched the surface with these guys. Thank you again for joining me on this episode of Stormlight Archive Easter Eggs and Secrets. I'll see you in the next one.